All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We are going to call this meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. Before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I would just like to congratulate Melissa and Jamie on their re-election and welcome Peter to his very first Board of Ed meeting down there. Okay, so we are going to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the magical singers here with us, directed by
They're going.
right now. Because later on is the end.
Okay, so we are going to have the Magical Singers directed by Mr. Tyler Boyle. I'm sorry. I know your name. It's a little out of order than I thought, so that's all. I was caught off guard. All right.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? America, America, America. God shed his grace on thee. God shed his grace on thee. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I know I was caught off guard a little because I thought both music groups were going at the same time, but that was perfect. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Superintendent Benigni for the reorganization of the Board of Education.
Yes, we have an annual election of officers. The election of officers shall be conducted in accordance with State Statute 10-218. Elections shall be in open session. The Board of Education past practice has been that elections are carried out using signed ballots. Also, according to Policy 950, officers shall be elected from the board by majority vote, those board members present and voting. So if you find underneath for president, underneath the microphone, each of you have a ballot. If you could complete the ballot, fold it in half, and pass it to me in the center. What's that? Just hold on to the blue form, because that should be done by the president, once elected. We have Carrie Sassu and Matt Tenz, I believe, virtually. Matt, if you wanted to email me your vote, I can pick it up, or text me. Same thing with you, Carrie.
Matt has a question.
Go ahead.
You didn't do that.
We did not have nominations, we had open ballot.
Yeah, we've never done it that way.
I don't know if Carrie's on. I know she was in the subcommittee. Got it. I have Carrie's vote texted. 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 votes for Julia Dennis. I have 1 vote for Matt Tenza and 1 vote for Melissa Gibbons. So Julia Dennis will be the board chair for the 2000 until next year.
Thank you.
Julia, I don't have to give you a new gavel that I brought just in case, so you can keep your same gavel.
Thank
And
you.
now I'm going to turn the meeting back over to you to do the voting for the secretary.
Okay, so we are going to move on. We are not doing nominations, correct?
If you want to do nominations, you could. I didn't do them. I did open voting, so I apologize.
I will follow in the same suit. So if you go ahead and write your vote for secretary and pass it down to me.
And Carrie and Matt, if you want to text Julia your vote. These are not yours.
Just waiting for Carrie and Matt's. Carrie and Matt, are you guys going to send in your vote?
I have Carrie's and Matt's here.
Okay.
So Tracy.
Okay, so I have 7 votes for Tracy, 1 for Jamie, and 1 for Matt. So congratulations, Tracy.
Now we need a motion for the schedule.
All right, the motion, next we need a motion for the annual schedule of regular meetings. A memo regarding proposed Board of Education meeting dates in accordance with policy 9085 was included in our board documents. Do we have a motion for consideration?
I'll move to approve the annual schedule for regular meetings in accordance with policy number 9085 as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Matt, did you vote on that one? Okay. The vote carries, we'll do 8-0, because I know Carrie doesn't have her camera on, and she, we should be careful about getting text during the meeting, so about votes. 'Cause it's FOIA. Okay. All right. Moving on. Motion for fiscal management. Superintendent Benigni, would you like to speak about this?
Yes, and for the approval of designees for the purpose of signing checks for the general fund, grants, Berlin High School Enterprise Fund, Berlin Public Schools Activity Fund, Cafeteria Fund, and the BOE programs is necessary, in accordance with policy 9046.
Do we have a, yeah,
I'm going to make a motion. I'm going to do them all at once in the interest of time as well. I'm going to move that Kevin Delaney and the Board of Education President be designated as signers of the general fund and grants. I'm also going to move that Katie Amenta and Doreen Guy be designated as signers of the Berlin High School Enterprise Fund. I'll also move that each principal and Doreen Guy be designated signers of the Berlin Public Schools Activity Fund. I'll also move that Brian Benigni and Doreen Guy be designated as signers of the Cafeteria Fund. And lastly, I'll move that Ashley Dorsey and Doreen Guy be designated signers of the BOE programs.
I'll second all of those.
okay, so the motion by Adam, second by Jamie. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor? Aye. So the vote will carry 8-0. Moving on to agenda item D, appointment of board legal counsel for 2022-2023 in accordance with board policy 9055. Do we have a motion for consideration?
I move that the law firm Shipman & Goodwin of Hartford be appointed to continue as the Board of Education counsel for the 2022-2023 year, and that they should be so informed.
I'll
Do we
second.
have a second? So motion by Adam, second by Carrie. Any discussion?
By Jamie?
Jamie, yes. Yes.
Quick comment, and I think we discuss this every year. Rather than a monthly or an annual retainer, they bill hourly based on when they are needed and necessary, but not on a regular basis, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Any other discussion? Okay, move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The vote is 8-0. All right, now we are moving on to our student presentation.
Thank you. First, I'd like to have a round of applause for Nick Manzi and Adriana Rasmussen for the prelude this evening. Next, I'd like to ask our band director, Chris Dresko, to come to the microphone to introduce the next musical group.
We're very lucky to have a variety of instrumental music groups here outside of the large ensembles that you normally see. We have several that run outside of the school day. Two of them are chamber ensembles that are primarily student-run. And one of them is the sax quartet, which you typically will see at the Veterans Day ceremony that we do. And
Would any board members like to comment before they walk away? Well, thank you so much for coming out this evening. Okay, so we are moving on to special presentations. So we have a lot of people here this evening, which is great. It's so nice to see a full house. We are going to start with the Lions Club presentation. Do you want me to go up with you?
If I could say a few words as these four gentlemen representing the Berlin Lions are coming forward. Being part of Berlin Public Schools for 30 years, the Lions have always been an integral part of the education system here and have always helped out the schools. But the last few years, they've done a little extra for us, and right down to the teachers' classrooms at the elementary level. So this evening, I'm going to share a little bit here. They put out a tip jar at locations that were selling beverages. The tips were designated for support of the Berlin teachers and their classrooms. The positive feedback received was overwhelming. Customers loved the idea of contributing generously to the cause. The Berlin Lions and the community recognize the challenges teachers are facing creating classroom environments that are welcoming, inspiring, and enriching. In an expression of appreciation and support, the Berlin Lions Club is pleased to present each elementary classroom with an $85 gift. Gentlemen, I would like to introduce the gentlemen who are here today representing the Lions, and I hope that I have the right people. Gary Schmidt, immediate past president Dan Daigle, second vice president Steve Kalinsky, fair treasurer Ron Bosco, member Gary Binkowski, and the other gentleman standing there, I don't have his name, but I know you're in, Mr. Tony Brudemas is in the background. So, gentlemen, if you come forward to the microphone, I'm going to turn it over to you. And thank you very much for a generous gift.
As the superintendent indicated, we had wonderful support for our Berlin schools and the elementary school teachers that were able for us to provide $85 gift cards for every classroom for whatever needs they have. It's just a minor token gift for all the great work and all the commitment to our children and our community. So thank you.
Thank you. We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Oh, good to see you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And the partnership with the Lions goes much beyond the gift cards, but it's great to be able to reach right out to the teachers and say, here's $85 to purchase materials for your classroom, and it's directly from the Lions. So thank you again. I'm going to turn the microphone over to our board president to recognize one of our board members who opted not to run, but has been part of the board for 11 years. Julia?
All right, so where is he? I can't see him. He's hiding. Oh, I see him. It's weird not having you up here. I just want to take a moment. This is really bittersweet. As long as I've been on the board, Tim Oakes has been on the board. He's been, an integral member of our board, whether, serving in many different roles, board chair, committee chair, our expert on Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know what we're going to be doing when we have Robert's Rules questions. We always go right to him. He brings a wealth of knowledge to our board and, always gives his thoughts and perspectives with the interests of the kids in mind to best serve our community and all the Berlin learners. Tim, thank you for all your time and dedication, all the work you've done outside our traditional board meetings through your role as a committee member, and just going above and beyond. And thank you for everything you have done to, personally help me be where I am and understand the various ins and outs of the Board of Ed. But I know you've served that role for many of the members on the board. So I can't thank you enough for your time. This is a thankless job. It's a volunteer position, and running is a lot of work. So, though I was upset when you told me you were not running, I had to respect that because I know the amount of time and effort that goes into it, and you definitely, you know, served the community and you did it well. I'm going to open it up to the board. Would any other board members like to share on Tim before we present him with his award?
I just want to, again, echo Julie's words and say thank you. It's very difficult to find volunteers that are willing to collect signatures, to run for office, to put themselves out there in the public, and you did so respectfully and diligently, and someone we would always look to. So we appreciate all of your time and service for Berlin. So thank you, Tim.
Yeah, your turn.
Tim, it's hard to see you back there, but normally you're right here. Not only were you Robert's Rules extraordinaire, but also your IT expertise. So I feel like you need to be coming to all board meetings so that we have you right here in front. So if we have any questions, of course, you'll be right there to answer. We're going to miss you. You were, yeah, see? We're going to miss you. I don't know how many years you served on the board, but I know it was a lot because it's more than what I've been on the board for. So thank you so much. We're really going to miss you. You're a fantastic gentleman, and we were so lucky to have you serve with us.
Thank you. Do we have an award for him up here? I cannot find it. I'm like looking around panicking, so. Where? There's a lot of awards up
We
here.
can make Mr. Oakes come on down now, and his award doesn't fit on the podium, it's behind the podium, so.
Oh, okay, that's why. I'm up here panicking because I can't find it. Okay, thank you. He's correcting me on Robert's Rules. It's perfect. That's why we're gonna miss him. Thank you. Would you like to say anything? It's your last
My last chance to
opportunity.
be on the mic. Yeah, I mean, it's been 11 years, and a few years before that, I had one misfire before I got onto the board, so I was watching for 2 years before actually being a board member. It's a great community. We have great staff. We have great administrators. We have great helpers, paraprofessionals, volunteer parents. This community does so much for students, it is unbelievable. And to see it over the past handful of years where so many other districts suffered because of COVID and various other initiatives and things, our teachers and our staff were just able to take it in stride. We've had the tools in place. The community has supported our district to fund a lot of those tools, from the most fundamental aspects of science and math and writing, to athletics, to art. I still love the fact that we have such a strong dedication to the arts here in town because, as I said when I was the chair, for some kids it's the creative aspect that lets them blossom into what they need to become. And that continues to be true with all of these other things that we continue to have to do. It's the kids need an outlet, so that little bit of art, whether it's just a little bit of drawing or splashing in a puddle or whatever it might be, is that little thing that keeps everybody from completely losing it. So it's been a great run. It's been a lot of fun to see kids grow and evolve and get better, as well as all of my fellow board members and colleagues to grow and evolve and get better. And you know, you get on here and you don't realize what the heck you're dealing with. There is so much to this. It's not like when we were kids and what education was all about. And 5 years from now, it'll be completely different again. So it's amazing to see it continue to change. And I want to thank everybody for the time that I've had with you and anybody else who's not here and watching that I've worked with. It's been a pleasure. And I definitely will be keeping an eye. So thank you very much. Brian.
I would give you a hug, but I don't hug people. Okay, thank you. Are you going to come up here for these awards too? Oh, it's not even. No, I'm sorry. Committee reports. Okay.
Julie, we just do the awards now.
Do the awards.
Don't we have to move it?
Everyone's waiting for the award. I don't think they came because they had nothing else to do this evening. All right. We have a lot.
The first awards we have this evening are the Superintendent's CAPS, Connecticut Association of Public Schools Superintendents Awards. I'm going to ask the building principals to introduce the award winners. So the administration staff has selected 10 students to receive the Connecticut Association of Public Schools Superintendents, acronym CAPS, Superintendent Student Award Recognition Program, Certificate of Excellence Award. Students are selected for this prestigious award based on criteria such as demonstration of leadership in the school community, community service, and service to others, and academic prowess relative to ability. The CAPS award this year will go to fifth graders, 8th graders, high school students. There'll be 2 at each level. And at this time, I'm going to ask Katie Amenta, Assistant Principal of Berlin High School, to come forward. Katie?
Hi, everyone. So I'm filling in place of Principal Eustace tonight, and I'm honored to do so. Our first recipient, Berlin High School is proud to recognize Kaylee DeMaio as Connecticut Association of Public Schools Superintendent Award recipient. Kaylee is an integral part of Berlin High School. Hardworking, intelligent, and a natural-born leader, Kaylee has taken responsibility for her education and immersed herself in many extracurricular activities throughout her experience at Berlin High School. Kaylee is an impressive young woman. She has persevered through the loss of both of her parents, and in her future is determined to find success in the medical field. Academically, Kaylee has taken on a challenging mix of courses. Thinking about her future, she has focused her efforts in math and science. Having high-level classes, Kaylee has learned to manage her time, stay on top of her workload, and always participate in class. These skills have helped her maintain excellence, earned her a place in the National Honor Society, and given her the opportunity to take part in the National Congress of Future Medical Leaders. Kaylee serves as the Vice President of the National Honor Society. On top of her strong academic program, Kaylee is involved in many extracurricular activities. She's the president of her class, where she manages class fundraisers, assembles class meetings, and organizes the junior and senior prom. She is a house leader within the Upbeat program and has assisted in freshman orientation and multiple projects in the community. She is also a member of Unified Theater and Medical and First Responders Clubs. Kaylee is a 2-season varsity athlete, both on the basketball and softball teams, where she has learned what it means to be a part of a team and to push limits to improve at each sport. She has been an inspiration, role model, and leader to her peers and teammates. Congratulations, Kaylee, on being selected as one of the Berlin High School's CAPS Award recipients.
Thank you.
Our next recipient, Terrence Dornfried. Berlin High School is proud to recognize Terrence Dornfried as a Connecticut Association of Public Schools Superintendents Award recipient. Throughout his high school career, Terrence has pursued a rigorous program of study, augmenting his schedule with honors and advanced placement coursework in all subject areas. In the classroom, Terrence is an engaged learner who is not afraid to ask questions when he needs extra help, and he eagerly assists his peers when they are struggling. His humble, easygoing nature enables him to collaborate effectively with all types of people, making him well-liked and well-respected by students and staff. Terrence was a clear choice to be inducted into both the National Honor Society and the Rho Kappa National Social Studies Honor Society, for which he serves as vice president. Outside of academics, Terrence is a leader in athletics and community service. This year, he encourages school spirit as a class officer, and a leader in the notorious Red Sea. Terrence is also an outstanding athlete and a founding member of the Ultimate Frisbee Club. He is also a member of the basketball team and a partner for Unified Sports. His first love, however, is golf, and he has earned various accolades from being named team captain to the Coaches Award to division championship titles. Terrence shares his passion for the game at a local golf course where he patiently teaches kids who age 3 to 14 years old the game of golf. Terrence also volunteers to support the Berlin community through the Interact Club, Habitat for Humanity, First Responders Club, Ryan T. Lee Memorial Club, and the Upbeat Peer Leadership Program, for which he serves as a senior board member and committee leader. Terrence serves as a role model by demonstrating his willingness to go above and beyond expectation and lead others. Congratulations, Terrence, for being recognized as one of Berlin High School's CAPS Award recipients.
Next, I'd like to ask McGee Principal Salvatore Russo to come forward.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. We'd like to call Ava Barbagallo up. Ava's a member of the McGee Team 8B who lives with her mom, her dad, her twin sister Olivia, and her 16-year-old sister Nina, and her rescue pet turtle Picasso. Did you bring Picasso? Okay. If you feel something under your seat, Picasso's here somewhere. She has many interests, including a love for crocheting, and has recently made a blanket for her grandmother. She also plays guitar in the jazz band at McGee. Her favorite subject is math, and she really enjoyed Mrs. Felix's class in grade 7. Ava's teachers describe her as a daily superstar, as she is consistently engaged, demonstrates a curiosity beyond the learning standards, and can lead a group in a way that is inclusive of all of her peers. Her patience, along with her responsibility, positive attitude, and kindness will serve her well in her future as an attorney. In the meantime, we are grateful for students like Ava, as she is making a difference at McGee. Congratulations on your well-deserved recognition, Ava. And Mason Shackford, please. Mason is a member of McGee Team 8A. He lives with his mom, his dad, his 9-year-old sister Lila, 16-year-old brother Jonah, and their puppy Harley. Mason is a valued member of the McGee School community and student council, where he demonstrates and models kindness, reliability, and gives a consistently valiant effort in all he does. Mason would like to give a shout out to his favorite teacher from grade 6 ELA, Mrs. Burnham. Outside of school, Mason follows his passion for sports, as he loved to play baseball and basketball. He just came from practice, which is why he's not wearing a tuxedo, which he said he left at home. His dream is to play for a Major League Baseball team, but plans to work in the field of engineering if contract negotiations don't work out. Although Mason's favorite subject is math, his even-tempered focus and ability to take charge with the skill to do it in a helpful and productive way in all subjects is the reason that we are grateful for students like him. Congratulations to Mason Shackford on your well-deserved recognitions. Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to ask Principal Jonathan Campbell, come forward.
Good evening. I'd like to call up Tregan Zampino. Come on up. You can stand here. I am pleased to announce that Tregan Zampino is a recipient of the 2022-2023 CAPS Award. Tregan is a 5th grader in Miss Spinella and Miss Schneid's class. His teachers shared that he is a model student and looked up to many of his peers and couldn't be more deserving of this recognition. Traegan goes out of his way to assist others and has a zest for learning, especially in math and social studies. Traegan regularly participates in class and pushes himself to do his best. When talking with Traegan, I learned many interesting things about him. He shared that one of his favorite parts about school is math, and he especially loves working with the order of operations. His brother has helped teach him at home, and it helps him just go with the flow in class, and he picks it up easily. He shared he also loves social studies and spends time on YouTube learning about the other countries and cultures. Stick to that on YouTube, it's much better. His teachers shared a daily highlight. Each morning, Traegan arrives wanting to share something he learned that is happening in the world. Traegan has several hobbies that he spends doing in his free time, such as playing football or ultimate spud outside with his friends. He also loves band and is inspired by his dad, who plays the drums. He wants to continue to play and become a musician. A favorite memory at Griswold was when he advanced to jazz band in 4th grade, and he still gets to practice with his friends, and they thrive together trying to improve. When asked about his future aspirations, Traegan said he hopes to be a history teacher, a storm chaser, and a grandmaster in chess. He shared he currently plays in an online chess league and enjoys the challenge of learning new strategies to beat his opponents. When I asked if he could beat me, he didn't even hesitate to respond that he thought he could. Congratulations, Traegan. As your teachers have stated, you are a model student and an inspiration to others. Next, I'd like to call up Isabella Palmieri. I am honored and pleased to announce that Isabella Palmieri is one of the recipients of the 22-23 CAPS Award. During an interview with Isabella, I quickly learned more about her, which further highlights why she is deserving of this recognition. Isabella is a student in Miss Spinella and Miss Sny's class. Her favorite parts of school are writing, library, and getting to be with friends. Isabella said she loves library class because she can read nonfiction books and learn about new topics and interests and gain more knowledge about the world and the human body. She also spends a lot of time learning about her Greek heritage. To go along with her love of reading, Isabella also loves writing stories. She said she loves to make up characters and create different problems that they have to solve. She's currently writing a story about a girl who will not have Christmas, and it's her job to have to fix it. When Isabella is not reading or writing stories, she loves to be outside. She has been playing soccer since she was old enough to run and kick. She also enjoys playing basketball, tag with her friends, and she's an avid dancer and is in her 8th year of ballet. Isabella also loves doing different art projects, especially painting or some sort of craft, and it has even taken art classes to learn more. Isabella is an avid baker and has taken classes to increase her baking skills, and she even gets to use her art skills to help decorate. When Isabella is older, she hopes to be a singer, doctor, and a teacher. She said she's always wanted to be a teacher since she was really young because her mom is a teacher, she loves school, and she loves to be able to help others. Isabella spends a lot of time with her baby sister, Sophia, and teaches her everything she knows. She was asked about her time at Griswold, and she said her favorite memories have been making new friends each year and that she really loved the fall dress-up day earlier this year. When asked what rules she would make if she could be principal for a day, she quickly responded she would make every Friday pajama day. You might get that to come true one day. Her teacher shared that Isabella takes time to ask how she is, and she says she has a smile on her face every day. She said she consistently goes above and beyond, always giving her best, has a kind heart, and is always willing to give a helping hand. Congratulations, Isabella. You are a model student who demonstrates our core values of being safe, kind, responsible, and works hard to make things better.
Next, I'd like to ask the principal of Hubbard, Al Souza, to come forward.
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, congratulations to all of our award recipients. Very well deserved, and it's a great evening. Hubbard School is proud to present 2 students who will be receiving our CAPS Awards in recognition. So without further ado, I'd like to call Mr. Joseph Vassi up to the front, please. I'm working hard with a tie. Joe's perfect without one. That tells you a little bit about himself right at first sight. Joe is a contributing member of Miss Mitchell's grade 5 class, and he's been at Hubbard School since kindergarten. Joe is described by staff as a dependable, respectful student role model who welcomes and excels in leadership opportunities both inside and outside of school. His positive attitude and commendable citizenship are essential aspects of his character that radiate when assisting others, contributing to meaningful conversations, and providing important feedback to classmates. Joe is always looking to deepen his understanding and extend his learning. This fortifies a very strong knowledge base fueled by a daily work ethic that inspires all around him. Joe is an exceptional friend that his classmates trust and look up to. He holds many varied interests, such as Lego building, drawing, and solving the Rubik's Cube fast. And I've heard in the hallways it's been 20 seconds or so, the whole thing. So, rumble, young man, rumble. He's a contributing player on his soccer, basketball, and baseball teams who demonstrate sportsmanship and leadership beyond the school walls. In speaking with Joe, I learned that he wants to be an engineer. He thinks it's very cool to program stuff and make it work, stating, "I want to be known as someone who is famous for doing things." In his spare time, Joe enjoys playing basketball, baseball, and soccer, as well as working on his Rubik's Cube skills. His favorite subject is math because he loves learning new ways to solve things and that engineers need to know math. He is happiest when he is with his family, especially on Thanksgiving when he gets to see his cousins who live out of state. Joe did share he has a strong concern for those who constantly slouch over and don't sit up straight. People may not realize it now, but it can hurt their back when they get older. As a CAPS recipient, I asked Joe if he had any advice for me as the principal of Hubbard. He responded, "Always keep trying to solve your Rubik's Cube faster and never give up being a principal, like until you're in your 60s. I also asked him if he had any advice for his peers. Joe stated, "Never be mean to anyone else, always be polite, and say please and thank you." In closing, Joe wanted to let his family know the following: "Thank you for raising me to be a good kid." Congratulations, Joe, for such a well-deserved honor. And now if I could call up Miss Annabelle Meager. You look beautiful tonight, honey. Annabelle is an active member of Miss Serrana's grade 5 class, and she has attended Hubbard School since kindergarten. Annabelle is described by staff as a self-motivated, independent thinker who sets ambitious goals and is always looking for a challenge to take her learning to the next level. One could not be prouder of her impeccable work ethic. She is an eager, curious student, critical thinker, and a strategic problem solver. Annabelle exhibits exceptional role model behavior as her interactions within the classroom and outside of school are an inspiration to her classmates. She is a very dedicated team player during group work, in school, and when contributing to her club soccer team outside of the classroom. Her consistent spirit of respect and cooperation are reflected in her daily interactions with both students and staff. Annabelle contributes thought-provoking ideas during discussions that ignite further inquiry in her peers. Her positive, magnetic attitude is contagious to all of those around her. In speaking with Annabelle, I learned that she would like to be a pro soccer player or a librarian because not only does she love soccer, but she loves reading books and teaching her younger brother about books. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, playing soccer, and practicing the flute and piano. Annabelle's favorite subjects are reading and math because she loves thinking about the theme or important message of a story, but also likes that there are many ways to solve math problems. She is happiest spending time with her friends and family, and Annabelle has no tolerance when someone doesn't believe she is telling the truth. I'm trying to explain, I'm telling the truth. How can they not see that? As a CAPS Award recipient, I asked Annabelle if she had any advice for me as the principal of Hubbard. She responded, and I quote, "Mr. Souza, I heard this saying, never undermine the importance of academics. So keep doing what you love, which I can see as being a principal." I also asked if she had any advice for her peers. She responded, "You have to believe in yourself, and I do this from time to time when I need to. You prepare for the worst, but you hope for the best and always believe that you can do it." In closing, Annabelle wanted to tell her family, "Thank you for supporting me and getting me to where I am today." Congratulations, Annabelle, for such a well-deserved honor.
Next, I'd like to ask Principal Megan Sorois to come forward from Willard School.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all of our award recipients. I have the privilege of announcing Willard School's CAPS Award recipients. I'd like to call up Charlotte Henderson, please. Congratulations to Charlotte Henderson, a student in Mrs. Hart's 5th grade class. When asked about Charlotte, Mrs. Hart shared, "Charlotte goes above and beyond in all academic areas." In math, Charlotte has a strategic approach to every problem she faces and perseveres until she fully masters a concept. Charlotte's wide range of experiences and background knowledge make her a strong reader. Her analysis of characters and their motivations help her to foster a deeper understanding of text and character development. Charlotte embodies every characteristic of having Willard pride. She is confident, positive, and inclusive, and has the ability to make everyone she interacts with feel valued. She cares deeply about others and gives her best effort to everything she does. In getting to know more about Charlotte, I learned her favorite subject is math. She loves learning about numbers and using her many strategies to solve challenging problems. She feels excited and proud of herself when she has persevered to solve them. She has a passion for softball and thrives at being a supportive teammate. In PE class, she always shows patience and an ability to explain things to her teammates in a constructive, positive, and caring way. Charlotte's creativity shines through her writing, drawing, and music. In anything Charlotte writes, her voice permeates throughout the piece and is always filled with imagery and figurative language. She is an enthusiastic participant in band. She is constantly growing as a musician and enjoys spreading her knowledge and love of music with others. Charlotte's interest in drawing evolves around fashion design. And don't be surprised by Charlotte's love of organization. Her pencil box has an endless supply of highlighters, colored pens, and sticky notes. To learn more about Charlotte's future aspirations, I asked her what she'd like to do when she gets older. Her hope is to coach a softball team because softball is her passion, or to teach 1st or 2nd grade. Watching people succeed brings her great joy. She enjoys helping people and watching them learn and grow, like her little sister. Charlotte is an amazing big sister. Charlotte's mom and grandpa are her inspiration. Her mom, because when she was younger, she went through similar things that Charlotte is experiencing and has taught Charlotte to love herself for who she is. Her grandpa was a great influence in her life as well and taught her to be independent and do what she enjoys. He taught her if something doesn't go right, you keep on trying. It is important to do what you love, even if it's not common. Charlotte wants to say thank you to her parents for teaching her how important it is to be kind and to respect others, even when people have different opinions. If Charlotte were to offer a word of wisdom, it would be, even if you are going through a hard time, remember things will get better, and you will go far in life if you try. Congratulations to Charlotte Henderson. We are so proud of you and look forward to hearing all about your future successes. Congratulations. Logan Buckley, please come up. Congratulations to Logan Buckley, also a grade 5 student in Mrs. Hart's class. When asked about Logan, she shared Logan puts his best effort into every academic task. He attacks challenging problems in math with strategies that demonstrate his outside-of-the-box thinking. In reading, Logan is able to analyze characters with a text and see events from a variety of perspectives. Logan is consistently a leader during book club discussions and motivates his group to use tech support when discussing a book. Logan has a passion for history and learning about the people and events that have shaped our world today. Logan enjoys writing about history and researching about World War II. He is an outstanding example of what it means to have character and integrity inside the classroom and outside. Logan's smile can turn anyone's day around. His contagious positivity and energy make him a role model within the classroom and school community. Logan has many talents. He's a fantastic trumpet player, and an exemplary member of our Willard Band. He is always prepared and never afraid to help his friends out when needed. Logan enjoys video games and is also a committed team player, representing Berlin as a member of the football team. Logan likes to be active and enjoy playing football. He gives 100% effort at all times in physical education class and works extremely hard to improve his skills and shows a passion for activities. He can always be counted on to be a leader with his positive energy and enthusiasm. He works well with all his classmates. In getting to know more about Logan, I learned that his favorite subjects are writing and math. Writing because when he writes books, he can be creative and free with his thoughts and ideas. Math because he can feel a sense of accomplishment when solving difficult problems. It may take some time to solve these complex problems, but then he remembers to keep trying and is confident that eventually he'll figure it out. To learn more about Logan's future aspirations, I asked him what he would like to do when he gets older, and he replied that he might want to be an author. But don't worry, Logan, you have some time to decide, right? So we were talking about different ideas. He believes it will be fun to be creative and share his ideas with other people. We know Logan is going to do great things in his future and beyond in whatever he chooses to do. When I asked Logan who inspires him, he said his parents, who are hardworking and generous. He also mentioned his brother Cole, who he says he gets along with most of the time. Logan wants to say thank you to his family for teaching him to be a good person, to be kind, thoughtful, and caring. They have also taught him that it is important to be nice to others because everyone has feelings and everything is not just about you. If Logan were to offer a word of wisdom, it would be to keep going because you can always achieve your goals and do more if you believe in yourself. Congratulations, Logan. We are so proud of you, and we look forward to all of your future successes. Great. Congratulations. Mr. Burnett.
One more round of applause for all the CAPS Awards winners. Next, I'm going to ask our curriculum directors to come forward, and they're going to introduce our building teachers of the year. So if I could have Lori Jerpin and Cara Watson come forward, please.
Welcome, everybody, and congratulations again to all of our award recipients. We have the pleasure of introducing some of our building teachers of the year. I am going to start with Rebecca Lorch from Hubbard School. Becky, if you're here, come on down. Rebecca has been an educator for 16 years in the Berlin Public Schools. She is currently a grade 1 teacher at Hubbard School, but has taught grades 2 and 3 as well. Rebecca understands the importance of evolving as a teacher. She regularly participates in professional development activities, seminars, and courses in order to acquire additional knowledge and skills in areas such as reading, writing, and mentoring. Rebecca has served on district-wide committees, including vertical teams for literacy, social studies, science, and math. She also served as Hubbard's building representative for 1 year. Rebecca believes in taking advantage of every opportunity to use technology paired with different teaching methods in order to prepare students for real-world experiences. She is highly regarded by her colleagues, students, and parents. One of her colleagues wrote, "She is known for her humor, creativity, and kindness." We are indeed fortunate to have Rebecca as a teacher in Berlin. Congratulations. Again. Again. Thank you, Paul.
And next, I'd like to welcome down Kristen Peranio from Willard School. Kristen has been an educator for 24 years and has served as a teacher in Berlin for the past 6 years. Kristen is currently a literacy specialist for grades K through 5 at Willard School. In this role, Kristen strives to be compassionate and understanding to both teachers and students. It is Kristen's goal to provide guidance and support to teachers and identify the best way to address literacy concerns in the student population. Meeting the social emotional needs of students by using individualized programs is a practice of Kristen's. Kristen finds it rewarding to experience a child's individual achievement when they celebrate moments of success in reading and writing. One of her colleagues wrote, "Kristen perseveres with challenging students, making an effort to understand who they are as an individual and as a learner." Her colleagues also describe her as an exceptional team player and instrumental in the SAT process. Kristen, thank you for making Willard a better place. Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome Jennifer Zaitoon to the stage. Jen is from McGee Middle School. Jennifer has been an educator for 17 years, with 16 of those being in Berlin Public Schools. Jennifer believes teaching is about making the content of what students learn real so that they can connect it to themselves and to the world outside the walls of our schools. Most importantly, she believes students should be given the opportunity to have positive experiences that they can carry forward to the next grade level. Jennifer engages her students in classroom experiences that connect them with the content, and she loves to hear from past students about how her teaching has impacted their lives. Jennifer goes above and beyond, having served in many different leadership roles and as a mentor for pre-service teachers. Jennifer is truly an exemplary teacher and a tremendous asset to our district. Congratulations.
And now we have Andrea Rodrigue from Berlin High School. Andrea has been an educator for 18 and a half years and has served as a Berlin educator for the past 18 years. She is currently an English teacher at BHS, where she teaches students at all grade levels and finds the variety of experiences extremely rewarding. Andrea is a lifelong learner who regularly participates in professional learning opportunities within and beyond the district. Andrea is transparent with her students while making sure that they understand how relevant the classroom activities are to them. Students in Andrea's classroom are allowed to be creative and let their voice come through in their assignments. One of Andrea's colleagues said, "Andrea is an inspiration to her students with her warmth, humor, and ability to challenge them to be better students and people." Thank you, Andrea, for your continued devotion to the students of the Berlin Public Schools. Thanks so much.
So throughout the process of selecting a Teacher of the Year at each building, from there becomes a District Teacher of the Year selection, which is selected through a group of former Teachers of the Year through more of a formal process of how they were nominated, and then we vote for our Teacher of the Year. I am very pleased to announce that Kristen Baudette, teacher of 5th grade at Griswold School, has been selected as the 2023 Teacher of the Year to represent Berlin. Kristen and I spent an evening at the Bushnell with all of the Teachers of the Year throughout the state, where she walked across the stage and received her picture with the commissioner. So congratulations, Kristen. I'll say a few words. In the fall of 2015, Kristen was hired by the Berlin Public Schools as a 5th grade teacher at Griswold School. Kristen's goal is to make each student feel comfortable in a family-oriented environment where they feel loved, important, and supported. Most importantly, Kristen believes that celebrating students' mistakes is a meaningful way to teach them valuable lifelong lessons. Kristen shared, when she shared with the group, that she had a misspelling on something for over a year before she caught it. And she shared that with her entire staff, sharing that it's okay to make a mistake and that we all learn from those mistakes, which I thought was very meaningful that she was willing to share that. During her tenure, Kristen has served on multiple committees that support her school and her district. She currently serves on the Griswold Climate Committee, the Equity and Diversity and Inclusion Committee, the Berlin Summer Band Camp, and as a Berlin Summer Band Camp teacher. Kristen has continued her professional learning by taking part in a variety of workshops, reading widely about topics related to her work, to her changing needs of students, striving for the highest professional standards. Kristen feels privileged to have the teaching job where she continuously impacts the lives of her children she teaches. A colleague shared, in her 7 years at Griswold School, she has showed incredible leadership within our school and our district community. Kristen is known to be warm, open, and caring, not only towards her students, but also towards her colleagues. Clear and frequent communications with parents via multiple different avenues is a trait of Kristen that is admired by her peers and appreciated by parents. Please join me in congratulating Kristen as the 2023 Teacher of the Year. We are so fortunate to have her here in Berlin.
Congratulations. You're welcome.
You don't have to give a speech tonight. So. Thank you. Thank you. Kristen's had a number of speaking engagements, including presenting to the entire staff, presenting to parent group. So tonight she doesn't have to speak. So thank you so much, Kristen.
Can I just have like 2 words?
Please, please.
Okay. I was very excited to see that Kristen was the Teacher of the Year. Every year I try and get to every school at least once throughout the year, just, to show my presence and support of the students and teachers. And I always look forward to going into Kristen's room and seeing what she's teaching. I find that her classroom environment and her style is very inspiring, and kids are always so happy to learn. Last fall, after I left her room, I felt so inspired to go back to my own district and take some of what she was doing in her elementary class and implement it in my high school class. Everything from your engagement to your decorations and just the collaborative learning environment. So very well deserved. Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to ask our Director of Special Services, Linda Holing, to come forward. Along with teachers, paraprofessionals do an outstanding job within the schools. Without those paraprofessionals, much would get lost. And so we'd like to recognize our paraprofessional of the year also.
Good evening, everyone. I also have a little story about Kristen. I happened to go into her classroom last week to see one of our students who's fairly new to Griswold School, and I asked him, I said, "What's your favorite part of the day?" He didn't say recess. He didn't say lunch. He said his teacher. One more plug, too. Tim, I want to say thank you for the past 11 years. Your support to the board and to us is greatly appreciated, and we're going to miss you. So thank you. I'm pleased to congratulate Guillermo Rivera from Berlin High School for being selected as Berlin's Paraprofessional of the Year. I don't think Guillermo's here tonight. Guillermo truly exemplifies the definition of a paraprofessional. With his calm and humble demeanor, he easily establishes rapport with students and colleagues. He's well respected and goes above and beyond for all. Guillermo is a man of many talents and brings his many gifts to the RISE program at Berlin High School. For example, Guillermo has filled in as an understudy in the Unified Play, created a RISE holiday photo session, provided translation services for parents, and even cut a student's hair after school. Guillermo is patient and effective in breaking down assignments so that our learners could access the curriculum in many settings. He has worked with challenging students, and even when the student has difficult behaviors, he remains calm and professional. He's often able to help students to regain composure and re-engage in learning. He has become an adult role model for not only the students in our RISE program, but other students at Berlin High School. He is simply a quality individual who thinks of others before himself, and his genuine caring for students shines in everything he does.
Next, I'd like to recognize our support staff, those outside of the classroom. We have our paraprofessionals, but we also have support staff that are an integral part of the Berlin Public Schools and all that goes on every day. The first staff member I'd like to recognize is James McCabe, custodian at Griswold School. James, you come forward, please. James, known as Jimmy, joined the Griswold staff at the end of June and has quickly become a valued staff member. He has restructured the day-to-day custodial process with very keen attention to detail, which has building looking sparkling and clean. I can say that your hallways rival Hubbard, so thank you, Jimmy. On a regular basis, staff members have complimented his responsiveness and commitment to being a team player. He consistently finds ways to make the building look better, and it is clear that he takes pride in his work. Jimmy can always be found with a can-do attitude and a smile. When Jimmy was asked what he thinks is the most important aspect of his job, he responded that he wants students, staff, and families to be proud of the building. He gets a lot of feedback from students and staff, and that feedback is important to him. Many students have reported that they think that the school is the cleanest building they've ever been in. With one student commenting that Mr. McCabe needs to talk with his parents because their house doesn't shine like the floors at the school. I gave you Hubbard, but that's even more. A colleague recently commented, Jimmy is very dedicated to cleaning and maintaining our buildings to a high standard. He positively and quickly responds and greatly appreciated by the Griswold staff. He also takes an active role in talking with students and forming positive relationships with them. Jimmy has said that the school is very welcoming and that the kids are a really fun age, and that he wants to do his part to continue making the school the great place to be. Jimmy is certainly a highly regarded member of the staff at Griswold School, and we are proud of his commitment to him behind the scenes, the work that helps make Griswold such a great school. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you. Don't leave it. Don't leave it. Thank you. Can I give these to you? Okay. Next, I'd like to have Ashley Sago from Hubbard School come forward. Hubbard School had the good fortune to welcome Ms. Sago as a staff member in 2021. She currently serves in the role of lunch recess paraprofessional and approaches work each day with care, compassion, commitment, and an outstanding work ethic. Ashley's unwavering kindness to every member of the school community warrants the highest commendation. It is, in a word, exceptional, and a hallmark of who she is and how she defines her relationships and interactions with others. Ms. Sago's efforts supremely benefit the students and staff of the school community at both the playground and cafetorium. Sorry, there, Mr. Sousa. Ashley can be relied on to carry out tasks as requested with diligence and fidelity. Her flexibility, professionalism, and positive attitude contribute to an enriching and supportive school culture for students and staff. She habitually puts forth every effort towards doing her very best to support Hubbard School family, whether lending a helping hand, taking additional time with a student, a surprise coffee delivery, or treating the whole staff to Sullyington apple fritters. Ashley contributes to her school family in every sense of the word. She fosters and maintains connections with students through patience, interest, and respect. She generally loves all of her children and joyful disposition, positively impacting everyone around her. Thank you, Ashley, for all you have done and continue to do for the students, staff, and the families of Hubbard School. Congratulations and well-deserved honor. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to ask Deborah Latimer to come forward from Willard School. Deb has been a paraprofessional in the BLAST program at Willard School for the past 5 years. Deb approaches each aspect of her job with a cheery disposition and determination to succeed. Her positive attitude and calm demeanor are infectious and trickle down to the students, staff she works with. Deb consistently demonstrates a high-level professional and brings her best to the job every day. She makes it a priority to build relationships with students and gets to know them on a personal level, making them feel valued and important. Deb's own words, "I love watching children reach their full potential. They come in like little sponges, and our job is to help them absorb as much as they can." For Deb, it's a good day when I can send children home with smiles, especially when we're having a tough day, and I help turn it around. Deb is extremely flexible and is able to provide structural and emotional support to students she works with. While working in the classroom, she is able to assess situations quickly and provide support needed to maintain a positive and productive learning environment for all students. She consistently seeks feedback to support students and achieve optimal student outcomes. Deb is supportive of her colleagues and routinely offers a shout out to others to recognize their efforts. She is kind, compassionate, and caring, and she's always willing to take the time to help others. When asked about Debbie, colleagues said, "Deb truly seems to enjoy teaching and mentoring her students. She goes above and beyond to be kind and nurturing to them." Another colleague said, "She is an amazing person, and we are lucky to have her here at Willard." We couldn't agree more. We are proud of her and appreciate her numerous contributions to supporting students and staff. Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to ask Sam Blanks to come down from McGee School. Sam serves the staff and the students at McGee School as a paraprofessional. He exudes a positive energy that is contagious, whether he is working alongside a staff or students who struggle with certain concepts. Sam gives them the best effort and maintains a consistently respectful demeanor. He is kind, patient, cool, and confident. And he provides support, supervision, and structure. Sam is willing to take direction, but also has the ability to take initiative when adaptations are necessary. And Mr. Blank is a staff member who does his job in a timely and reliable manner. He comes to work with a sense of humor, calmness, confidence, which make him an excellent role model for students and staff alike. This recognition is well deserved. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, This gentleman's in the auditorium quite a bit, but we're going to make him come down front. So if I could have Nick Smith from Berlin High School to come forward, please. Nick currently serves as the District Director of Media and has served in the pivotal role of Berlin High School since he was hired in January of 2020. Nick came to us with a tech experience and creative background that has allowed him to raise the level of digital media production to a professional level. All of the streaming that you see throughout the district is a credit to Nick and his team, and a lot of the little videos that get sent out from each school monthly, that's Nick behind the scenes doing that work also. Anything that happens in his auditorium, Nick's work. The TV station, the TV studio, Nick. The radio station, Nick. Those are all under Nick's domain. So Nick and his team, our students, were instrumental in keeping BHS connected to families throughout the pandemic through live streaming productions, radio, podcasts, and other shows. In a span of just a few short years, with Nick's guidance and leadership, our digital media outreach has grown exponentially through video, tech production, and radio broadcast. He is committed to involving students in the process and has helped develop a wonderful pipeline of student volunteerism, club participation, and then employment. This is authentic learning at its best. He needed a much larger workspace to accommodate the volume of students that flow in and out of his office daily. In addition, Nick has expanded his reach to connections to students as a new advisor of our improv club, sharing his comedy and performance expertise with the students. He is also working with a group of students to partner with DECA School Store to offer a clothing resale shop where proceeds benefit various clubs, charities, and activities. Nick, thank you for the dedication and support to students at Berlin High School. The growth of the digital media with your expertise and student involvement and leadership has truly been a highlight of Berlin High School. Congratulations on being selected as a Berlin High School Staff Person of the Year. Nick, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Last but not least, I'd like to ask Margarita Alvarhanden to come forward, please. Margarita works at Central Office with us, and Margarita's role changed a little bit in the last years, where that she had an office and she was just working with the assistant superintendent. We restructured things. She's now out in the front office, and during that time, Margarita has just blossomed into the greeter, the person who welcomes everyone to the board. She just has a great personality. She's just flourished. So I'm going to read a little bit here, but Margarita, please. Margarita has been an employee of the Berlin Public Schools since January of 2021. When hired, she served in a role as executive assistant to the assistant superintendent. Since changing in the structure assistant superintendent's position several months ago, Margarita has been an incredible, flexible, and supportive of many of the changes. One of Margarita's greatest qualities is that she is a true team player. She collaborates well with her colleagues and is seen by everyone in Central Iowa as a positive, hardworking, and dependable person. Margarita takes pride in her work and is always open to taking new challenges, sharing ideas and accepting feedback. Another strength that Margarita possesses is her superior level of customer service. When people come into the Board of Education, Margarita greets them with warmth and reaches out to them with whatever they need. When the visit is related to registration, Margarita goes above and beyond to make the families feel welcome and cared for. We appreciate Margarita's dedication and thrilled to recognize her accomplishments as this year's Berlin Education Support Staff Award. We also appreciate Margarita's cooking, the rice and beans and the almond cake. We appreciate all of it, Margarita, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. You want me to keep going? Okay.
Yeah, just keep going.
You want me to keep going? Okay.
He's on a roll.
There you go. As you can see, the school district doesn't operate without a lot of individuals. I know tonight's a lengthy recognition, but it is important that we recognize people for all that they do, for the students, for the community, and for the parents. So just a few more, please. The Friends of Berlin Schools. This award was started by a Board of Education president years ago. The awards are presented annually to those that volunteer nominated by each school's administration, PTO, or community, and selected by the Board of Education for their outstanding contributions as a volunteer who has devoted time and energy to helping the Berlin Public Schools. So first, I'd like to ask Deborah Parafati from Griswold School to come forward. Deborah has 2 children in grades 4 and 2. Currently, she serves as the co-president of the Griswold Parents Club and previously served as a secretary for 2 years. During this time, Deborah has helped some of the bigger fundraising projects such as Lyman Pies, Butter Braids, and Christmas Wreaths. She has helped to organize the school store and the Tie-Dye Day, which is a huge hit for students and one of the favorite days. Deborah has said it is important to her to be involved and to help support the kids and the teachers so that they can have more opportunities of having fun and such as having a great school. Beginning when her oldest child was in kindergarten, Deborah has volunteered in the classroom on a regular basis, taking on the role of support students by working with them individually to practice math skills. Volunteering is one of their favorite things to do. Deborah was asked how she finds time as she also volunteers to coach her daughter's soccer team, and she stated, she finds time to get into school because it's something she loves to do. I love the kids at Griswold. I love the teachers. We are so lucky for her involvement and support in Griswold School. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you for all that you do.
Next, I'd like to ask Laura Galecki from Hubbard School to come forward. Laura has been a valuable contributing member of the Hubbard School community throughout her children's educational tenure. A former Hubbard student herself, she has 2 children who attend Hubbard School, Kaylin in grade 2 and Brooke in grade 4. Laura embodies the concept of parent partnership and a friend of Berlin schools in both words and actions. She has selfishly volunteered her time and talents in such roles as PTO co-president, room parent, and field trip chaperone. She is also a member of the Berlin's Parent Advisory Council. Laura is a familiar face within the school's family, attending a myriad of events and contributing to numerous fundraisers throughout her time at Hubbard. She has consistently supported all of the students, whether donating her time, school supplies, or making a financial contribution to a fundraiser. She puts forth all of her effort towards enriching the individuals and collective experience for Hubbard School. She seeks avenues to work in partnership with others, to develop new creative ideas, to support our schools and reinforce the improvement that are already in place. Her collaborative, balanced mindset, bolstered by her consistent dedication and supportive philosophy, have positively impacted the Hubbard community and evaluated students' K-5 educational journey. Thank you, Laura, for all that you have done for students, staff, and families at Hubbard. Congratulations on a well-deserved award. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining the Parent Council. Next, I'd like to recognize Karen Pagliaro and the dog, her dog. Here comes the dog. Here comes Ryder. Ryder's a special therapy dog, so. All right. I don't want everyone bringing their dogs to the next board meeting here, but let me share about Karen and her dog here. Karen and her therapy dog. Ryder were planning to join the school community in March 2020 when the pandemic hit. We were so happy in the spring of 2022 when we were officially able to welcome them, and we were also glad we did. Every week, Karen volunteers her time to bring Ryder to Willard to visit some of our students. As soon as they enter the building, their immediate impact can be felt. The oohs, the ahs, the sounds, the smiles immediately come from staff and students upon their arrival are an example of the joy they bring. The calming presence of Karen and Ryder is appreciated by everyone they encounter. Students enjoy this quality time with Ryder, and they can often be heard asking, "How many days until she comes back?" It is remarkable to see the growth of some of our students have since the first time they met Ryder. Some students that were initially apprehensive are now eagerly engaged with giving them hugs and reading books to them. Knowing the calmness and comfort that Ryder brings, we invite Ryder to support our staff after an untimely passing of our head custodian, Tony Solella. Karen did not hesitate by bringing Ryder to support our staff during this difficult time. Her dedication to our school community and willingness to support others truly encompasses what it means to be a friend of Berlin Public Schools. We are so lucky to have Karen and Ryder as part of the Willard School family, and we cannot think of anyone more deserving. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Next, I'd like to have Jim Keefe come forward for McGee Middle School. Jim is a school community member who has touched the lives of many over the decades of service to the Berlin Public Schools. Whether you are a student, athlete, parent, certified, non-certified staff member, you have most likely been in Jim's company. Whether he is serving as a substitute teacher, coaching track, or walking through the halls, Mr. Keefe just seems to connect and draw a crowd. He goes out of his way to make others feel welcomed and cared for. His ability to remember names, relatives, and stories are supportive of his ability to effectively engage and take over the command of a room of students or staff of one of a kind, a compassionate manner. Thank you for your building positive relationships and serving as our friend, and thank you for still helping us out in the Berlin Public Schools. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Last but not least, I'm going to try to get the name right, Tony, too, here. Tony Putremus? Tremus. Sorry, Tony. Tony is representing Berlin High School. Tony's commitment to Berlin Public Schools and its students, athletes, knows no bounds. As a longtime president of Berlin Athletic Boosters Club, Tony is in the hands of helping and lead an organization that supports all of our Redcoat teams. As president, Tony manages a multitude of volunteers across a variety of sports, all while helping organize events year-round that ultimately benefit the student athletes who wear the Berlin sports uniform with pride. Tony continually works to ensure that all teams are supported and represented, knowing it can be tough given the competitive nature of athletics. He is easy to get along with, always acts in a voice of reason, and is consistently willing to go above and beyond for the benefit of the Berlin High School student athletes. Tony recently shared, "It was such a proud moment when I was able to hand students scholarship checks last year from the boosters. It makes it all worth it." In addition to his role as athletic booster president, Tony is a proud parent of Maria, a class of 2020 graduate, and Anna is a member of the class, a member of the class of 2023. Given that both of his daughters are class leaders in a variety of ways, he has certainly assisted with many of the class and club activities as well. Tony is very frequently found supporting our Upbeat program through his work with the Lions Club. Tony, thank you for your consistent support and your willingness to help. Congratulations on well-deserved award. Thank you so much.
All right, before we continue with the rest of our meeting, we're gonna take about a 5-minute recess, so you guys do not have to stay for the meeting. you can get home and carry on with your Monday night activities. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to all the recipients. There's cookies on the way out, so help yourself. All right, we are back from our recess. We are starting out with committee reports. I'm going to turn it over to our student representatives.
Is my mic on? I don't know. Is my mic on? All right, there we go. Good evening, everybody. So I just want to say before we get into it, we're going to have pictures up behind us of just to kind of accompany what we're going to say. First, okay, there we go. First, Sam and I want to congratulate Mr. Zarabozo on finally, or actually coming up to the board. And then also to the returning members, Ms. Miller and Ms. Gibbons. We hope that we have a more successful term and to continue to work with all of you. And so the first thing is that on December 16th at 7, the BHS Chorus and Concert Band will be performing at their annual Pops concert. Tickets are free and the performance is located at the auditorium at BHS.
All right, and the BHS football team has officially made it to playoffs. They went undefeated this season with a record of 10-0. They will be going up against Brantford tomorrow at Sage, so best of luck to them. I also wanted to shout out the Red Sea. They've done a great job this season keeping up the energy, and also to the band, color guard, and cheerleaders for all of their hard work, and it really makes it a great atmosphere. BHS held auditions for the spring musical, The Little Mermaid. We'd like to congratulate all cast members for the characters they will be playing, and we cannot wait to see how the play turns out. And Powder Puff was held last Tuesday night. Although it was a cold night, all the team members and coaching staff made it a really great night, and I wanted to say congrats to the juniors for what I believe is their third year winning in a row. And that's all we have for tonight.
Go juniors. Oh, sorry.
Rigged.
Is that it?
Sorry.
I love the presentation. Thank you so much for putting the slides and pictures. I think that's really great. Any questions for our student representatives? Okay. Committee reports. Jamie, would you like to share out from the?
Sure, we had we had our curriculum meeting before this meeting at 5 p.m. We went over the program of studies, which we'll go over next meeting. There's some, well, I'm not even gonna really talk about it. We were all pleased with what was presented. It'll be presented next time. It's just really giving the kids some more opportunities. And then we talked about what Kara and Lori will be going over later, which is the you know what I'm saying, the continuum is, what's it called, Brian? Thank you.
Continuous improvement plan.
Yep, that's it. Mhm. Yeah, thank you. And that's all we discussed tonight.
Okay, thank you. Any other committees have anything to report? It's been a while since we've met. Okay, I know we don't have a quick report this evening. Correspondence to the board.
I have one correspondence to the board this evening. Dear Berlin Board of Education, thank you for the beautiful floor arrangement you sent in honor of my mother's passing and brought some cheer to our family amid a difficult time. Your thoughtfulness and support were appreciated. Ashley Dorsey.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to the next part of the agenda, audience of citizens. Anyone like to address the board? Just come on up and state your name and address. Residents speaking during this portion of the meeting will be limited 3 minutes per resident. Yep.
Cornell Boudria, 115 Skinner Road. I'm here tonight to ask the board to consider factoring in all election dates when establishing the school calendar. I know currently we do a great job by state mandate, I believe, closing school for primaries, although that's during the summer, and the general election. But what we don't do is close for referendums. It's really a school and student safety consideration. We've spent considerable amount of money investing in vestibules to secure the kids, but yet on election day for referendums, we allow the general public in. to vote. I think we need to reevaluate where we stand on this and make sure that we close schools during referendum votes. And that's all. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the board? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, which was included in our board materials. Do we have a motion for consideration?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Melissa, second by Jamie. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. The vote carries.
I think Tim.
Matt,
Tim,
yep.
Matt.
That's your vote, yep, okay.
Okay.
8-0. Great. Moving on to new business, the approval of the district continuous improvement plan for 2022-2023. Curriculum directors Lori Jerpin and Kara Watson will present the district continuous improvement plan.
Okay. Just turn so I can see as well. All right, so tonight we are here to talk about our continuous improvement plan for this year. And it's actually something that's going to span several years. A little bit of background, our administrative team worked together during the summer and early fall to identify priority areas for continuous improvement. As a result of multiple discussions, we established 3 main goals for the district. Working off of these district goals, each school and department will then identify actions that are relevant for their work. The goals will be regularly reviewed for progress as part of our administrative council meetings, school-based meetings, and so on. The goals that we've established are set out in a 5-year plan with various actions identified as focus areas for different years. And if you're actually looking at the plan itself, which we believe you either have on paper or electronically, you'll notice the 5 years, so that gives us some guidance. And you'll notice that we have dots, checks, and pluses, and those refer to different stages of our actions, the learning and planning, implementing, and reflecting and revising stages. In determining our district goals, we referred back to our original mission, core values, and belief statements that were previously established and we presented on earlier this fall or end of summer. Berlin Public Schools has a mission to empower our students to be enthusiastic, curious learners, and kind, compassionate leaders in our community and world. And our core values focus on the 3 tenets of purpose, passion, and pride. Our beliefs about learning center around the following, and you can read the 4 statements. Basically, students learn best when they feel safe and valued. We must challenge and support all students to reach their goals. The cycle of setting goals, practicing and seeking feedback, and reflecting enhances the learning process. And choice and authentic experiences engage and empower students. It is important that all of our work relates back to our mission, core values, and beliefs. And just to review again, this may seem very familiar to you, the Berlin vision of the graduate that we've been talking quite a bit about. This is our pre-K to 12 guiding document for our entire district. As a pre-K 12 learning community, our goal is for every graduate to develop important transferable skills that will help them to be successful now and in the future. Through coursework and other learning experiences, we will ensure every student can communicate effectively, collaborate to accomplish a shared goal, learn continuously, think critically, innovate to design solutions to problems, and contribute to local and global communities.
So if we look at the first goal, We really look at what our desired outcome is, where we want to be, and that's that all students' performance will increase and learning gaps will decrease. So again, it's looking at a lot of different pieces. When we looked at this is where we want to be, we came up with our theory of action by nurturing learning of all community members. We can ensure that students receive the appropriate supports and enrichments needed to maximize growth. And then our goal is that we will commit to building an organization that focuses on the learning of all members, resulting in optimal growth of each student. So you can see that we started with the end in mind, what do we want our outcome to be, and then backed it up with what do we think will have the biggest impact on that, and then we created our district goal. Then on the, we also included actions as well as how we were going to measure our progress toward the goal. And so we're going to be measuring by looking at strategies that we come up with as educators to make sure that students are using the most or are exposed to the most high yield strategies, that we're going to update our SRBI process to make sure that all students are receiving the information that they need in order to continue to progress. We're going to look at our data warehouse. Our data warehouse at the elementary level is moving right along because it has the most amount of data, and it's being built continually at the middle and high schools. Right now, all of the standardized testing is in the data warehouse at the middle and high school, and we also started looking at ways that we can import information and what information we want to import from PowerSchool into the data warehouse. The entire special education department is working on writing specific goals and determining how to monitor the progress of students. And we also have to look at our professional learning opportunities and in conjunction with our professional growth and evaluation committee. That group is an important part of making sure that we are going to provide the correct professional learning, that which is desired, to staff. And we're going to look at, obviously, student performance data on standardized tests in grades 3 through 12 as one of our measures. We're going to make sure that we have an SRBI handbook and process that everyone is familiar with and knows how to get students the correct supports. And we're going to make sure our curriculum is documented in the Atlas. So we put some of them in there, but we certainly have other action steps in the full document for you if you want to review that. Cara already explained how we looked at spreading it out over 5 years, and that could change over time. So we'll continue to look at that, and that's part of why we have reflection as part of our process.
Okay, and then goal number 2, our desired outcome, again, starting with the end in mind, has to go along with the vision of the graduate. The competencies outlined in Berlin's vision of the graduate will be reflected in all of our curricula and can be identified in our lesson design. And working backward, our theory of action in italics. You can see that there. If all district staff understands the purpose of the vision of the graduate and implements it with fidelity, students in Berlin will graduate college and career ready. And that led us to the creation of our goal that the Berlin Public Schools will integrate the vision of the graduate competencies into our daily learning experiences as outlined in the district curriculum. So if we believe that the vision of the graduate is an important document that's aligned to life after high school, we need to keep that alive and connect it to our teaching and learning. And just reviewing some of our actions and measures, again, there are more things listed in the full document, but to highlight a few things, we are currently working on plans to have our vision of the graduate publicly displayed across district. We are working with some subcommittee groups to make this happen. This includes actually student groups. We have some students who are working with us on graphic design, and we're working on some website design as well. So definitely trying to get everything up to par to what we want it to look like. We'll continue to update our curriculum and assessments as we always have, but we'll more closely align with the vision of the graduate and continue to utilize Atlas, our curriculum mapping system, to document our work. And one of the big things we wanted to share has to do with looking closely at ways that we communicate student progress in alignment with the vision of the graduate and focusing on students owning and demonstrating their learning. And some of this work includes things such as elementary report card revisions, creation of e-portfolios, student-led conferences, capstone, opportunities for career-connected learning.
And our third goal, the desired outcome, all schools will create welcoming, supportive cultures that focus on the important aspects of social, emotional well-being. And our theory of action, if staff and students learn about and utilize social emotional strategies, the school community will be healthier and members will be available to teach and learn. And so our goal is the Berlin Public Schools will support the development of the social emotional well-being of all members. And so we know that all students need to have a healthy social emotional well-being in order to be ready to learn. And so we also know that that's true of teachers, right? When we have that healthy outlook, we're able to then move forward and have good instructional practices. And then how we're measuring student, staff, and family surveys, tracking referrals to the office, decreasing the number of at-risk reports, and then action steps that we have, incorporating tenets of the ruler, those that are applicable to the Berlin Public Schools, and focusing on areas of climate in the district. Are there any questions about the continuous improvement plan? Only if they're easy ones.
First of all, I guess just a general question, looking at this, do you think, we're talking about the growth of each student, has your plan or thought process changed because of COVID, or is it just a natural progression in educational time? I know things change over every 5-10 years, but I mean, do you see a lot of what you're doing now a reaction or because of COVID and some of the delays, or is this what you would have been doing normally?
So we talked about this a little at our meeting before, and we mentioned that some of it certainly is in reaction to COVID. However, we're taking students where they are and staff where we are and moving them forward. So we have to really evaluate where we are, what our needs are, and continue to move forward. I mean, some of these things like looking at student growth, that's something we want to do, but some of the action steps might look a little different than they would have if we hadn't gone through COVID.
Prioritization of what we're doing shifted because of COVID, yes.
And not that you would have the answer, I'd be curious, how Berlin stacks up with other towns, and just, a little sidebar, I know, I've got a daughter who's a freshman in college right now, and we ask her, how are you doing in classes, and she's taking all kinds of chem and bio and everything else in labs, and she's like, oh, Berlin High prepared me very well. She said, a lot of my friends are struggling because, number one, a lot of them never came back from a hybrid model back into the classroom. And number two, they just weren't being challenged enough at high school. And so now it comes to college and you're reading, so many books per week and, note-taking and all the work that she's doing. She's like, oh no, I'm managing it well. So I think it's a compliment to what the school system did during COVID to try to keep at a high level. Understand there was, everyone slipped a bit. I like the 5-year implementation as well because it's a living, breathing document that might change over time depending on how much progress you make in year 1 or year 2. For district goal number 2, you said update K-5 report cards to incorporate tenets of vision of the graduate. What does that mean?
So those are the pieces where, when you look at the vision of the graduate, those 6 buckets that Cara talked about, we want to make sure that that's reflected in those habits of work sections of the report card so that it's aligned with what our expectations are on a daily basis. Because if that's what we're going to be working with the students on, we want to be able to report that information back to families in an accurate way.
So it will include some language changes and some changes in the skills. We're doing some work in our upper grades as well, but it looks a little bit different.
And then lastly, with district goal 3, social emotional well-being, I know this is, a priority right now, and again, especially coming out of COVID, it seems it was an issue that's been, whether it's been exacerbated or has become more to light for everyone. But I'm glad that you have a separate and distinct goal for that, because I think it's important to be addressed. And I think it's, interesting thinking about Karen with her, dog in the school. And I remember talking to her about that a while back. I mean, every little bit helps. So, if it's something that small that's helping somebody cope or help somebody have a good day, so be it. But I like seeing that that's a separate goal. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I know that we can move into the discussion after we have a motion. Do we have a motion for consideration?
I'll make a motion to approve the district continuous improvement plan for the 2022-2023 as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So the motion by Adam, second by Jamie. Okay, any other discussion? Questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Did everyone vote? Yeah. Okay, 8-0. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Moving on to possible revisions to the 2023-2024 school calendar and graduation date. I'm going to turn this over to the superintendent to discuss the recommendations that he has received from parents and administrators, and then go over it. Before we get into a discussion board-wide, I would like to entertain a motion. So we'll have the superintendent share on it. Then if someone wants to make the motion, then we can open it up for discussion.
Sure. The conversation with changing the calendar for the 23-24 school year came after this year's calendar, and it really came from teachers' comments and conversations with the union about it being so close to shortened time in August, that the summer was short. But keeping that in mind, the discussion also was that typically we have snow days, which puts another week. But people thought that summer was short this past year, starting on the 22nd, which is the Monday, and then this year. But if we keep the calendar the same, it's really the same calendar that we currently have for this year, starting in that third week. So that's where that came in, and then that would necessitate a change in the graduation date. So that's why you see the change in graduation date. If the board does not choose to change the calendar, then the graduation date would stay and everything would stay as it was approved earlier. So that's where it came from. It was shared with the parent group. The parent group had mixed feelings. Some said it's okay, it wasn't that bad. Some said, well, yeah, I would like to have a longer summer. I think everyone likes a longer summer when it starts, but when you get the snow days and you're taking up June, they may not. So I know that looking at it on the calendar, and seeing it be the third week, I think causes a little, I don't want to say anxiety, or a little like uneasiness of, well, summer's shorter. But it's really a message of where does summer begin and where does it end? Whether you get it on June or you get it in August. So that's why it's here in front of you this evening.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for consideration? No motion for consideration.
There's no motion, there's no action.
If there's no motion, there's no action. Can we open it up for discussion if there's no motion?
Listen, because it's on the agenda, I will make the motion, and then I'll make a few comments.
All right.
Move to rescind the motion made on March 14, 2022, setting the 2024 Berlin High School graduation date for Friday, June 7, 2024, and move further to approve the revisions of the 2023-2024 school calendar as presented and set the 2024 Berlin High School graduation date for Friday, June 14, 2024.
Motion by Adam. Do we have a second? A second by Melissa. Now we can open it up for discussion. So I'm going to throw it out to you guys as a board right now to begin the discussion.
Yeah, I made the motion, though I'm not in favor of the motion, but I'll just explain my thought process. The calendar that we had voted on in March, I thought was appropriate. It mirrored what we have this year. And I think if you look at trends, whether it's in Connecticut or just in New England for that matter, seem to be starting in mid-August and ending in early June. You know, as a parent of somebody who's going to be graduating as well in 2024, and again, I can only speak from the high school perspective, our kids are in school already with practices and sports and everything else by the middle of August. I think to start then is appropriate. When it comes to the end of, when we get into June and with snow days, if we do have them, getting into the late teens and the early 20s for June, I think is a bit much. I do like the idea of beginning in middle of August and ending in early June. Again, as somebody who, since we already passed this in March, I gave that graduation date to all the relatives already. Not that things can't change, but just myself personally, I like the calendar as it currently stands.
Thank you, Adam. Go ahead, Jamie.
I also have, this is hard because I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective, but first, you know, I'm a parent first. My child is also graduating, but I'm looking at it from, when you have kids that are going into June and we don't know what the snow dates are going to be. We could be really lucky, we could not be very lucky. And I remember past years having this discussion right here when we were going into late June. The kids were off the wall, the teachers were done, it was hot. We're, you know, looking at the third week of June, and it was just, they were checked out. In August, when you go back, yes, it's a little earlier, just like it was this year, but the kids present in a different way. Maybe they're not fully ready to go back, but they go back, they have Labor Day, then they have Berlin Fair Day. So I feel like an ease of getting back into school is easier to deal with than on the other side of it in June when you have the kids that are just kind of, you know, checked out. Again, it doesn't, I mean, Jake will deal with whatever graduation date there is, but I'm really kind of curious because we passed it in March and, you know, now it's November. Was it right after the, you know, staff and students went back to school and that's when or did it come up sooner than that? I'm just wondering the length of time between when we passed it and.
If I recall correctly, it was brought up at the beginning of the year, and it may have been mentioned even in the summertime about this is a real early start date. So it wasn't like it was just brought up last week or a couple weeks ago. And I think it was also going through it, you know, what this year was. And I think it's also looking, you know, when you look at the calendar, I think that's what is the shock value. You can say, oh, you're coming back.
Well, and the length of summer really depends on snow days. So whether you end late in June or go back in, I mean, you just don't know.
Well, as I said to you, it's really what end are the days. You're getting the same number of days. It's either you're getting more in June. I think it's, you know, it's also part of an adjustment to what this past year was different than what traditionally has been done. It was a week earlier. So.
We also had the year coming back from COVID that we were delayed a week because we didn't have all the PPP in place, and then we went till June 24th, something like that. I don't know. I just, again, from an academic standpoint, I think that kids, once they come back to school, are ready to learn or get ready to get acclimated to a new school, new classroom, new teachers. by the time Memorial Day passes and you're into June, I think that everyone has their sights set on summer already. I think that ending in earlier June is, again, personally, I think it's a better model for student learning.
What do our student board reps think? If you have an opinion, that's what he wants.
I don't know if you guys can hear me well, but I've got a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm not in favor of changing the calendar for a variety of reasons, some of which you've already touched on. First and foremost is we adopted this back in March, and I was frankly surprised to see it on tonight's agenda because I haven't heard word one about its initiative. And yet, and that's been 8 months, is it 8 months? I don't know. It's happening. Second is, I think, we have these conversations at the end of every school year, is we go too late, the kids want to be out, the teachers want to be done. So the offset to that is we start a few days early. The kids do have to go back to school. They'll be in the mindset of they do have to start to learn, and we are still trying to get back learning loss that we've had, because we would rather not have attentive students or we want students that are checked out. And then lastly, I forgot what it is. The other point is we have a lot of student athletes who are already have to be back at school in practice sessions, and the football team, the soccer teams, all of our fall sports, I don't see where it makes a difference where most of the students are obviously going to be back anyway. So it makes practices, issuing uniforms, and handling all of that transportation kind of stuff right up front and easier. So I don't see a reason to change the calendar. I didn't hear from anybody that said that they wanted to change the calendar. I know, Brian, you're talking with staff or whoever it is that brought this forward, but we've had plenty of opportunity for people to get in front of us, whether it's either personally, bells are going to ring, personally, or via email or any other avenue with these things. So I would not be in favor of this. I guess that's my piece.
Thank you, Matt. Mr. Review, do you have anything you'd like to share? Yeah.
Sure. So, because I'm going to be a junior in the next, or sorry, a senior next year, I think I could talk about this. I agree with the majority of the board that I feel like that would, with the trade-off being that we start later and end earlier, I think that's actually a really good thing. My only concern would be for how it works for the teachers, especially ones who have children who are in different school districts that might not have the same dates that we start or end. That would be my only main concern. But I know at least for my class, we would love to end earlier, especially when we're graduating.
Because, I mean, I'm going into my senior year, and it's like, once you hit that second semester mark and you're like months away from graduating, that last month is like, I'm assuming is going to be really tough just trying to stay focused, having college ahead of you and everything, but the beginning of the school year, like you have your new stuff, you have your new classes, you have your new teachers, looking forward to see your friends. And from a personal standpoint, I'm way more engaged at the beginning of the school year, like trying to keep on top of my tasks, trying to keep no missing assignments throughout the year. Then at the end of the year, it's like, oh, maybe I don't do this, or I have like 4 more absences in this class, I can take this one period off. So I personally would say getting out earlier in June is the better option.
Thank you. Thanks. I know looking at the calendar, snow days weren't taken into account, so if there's, 3 to 5, we could be going as late as June 21st. And I know especially teachers of lower elementary that can be really difficult. The upper grades have final exams and stuff, so their schedule looks different. They don't? No? I was gonna say, their schedules might look different at the end, but, I think it can be really difficult towards the end, especially with the motivation, behaviors, especially what we've seen in the past. Because, Jamie, you said we were sitting here having this discussion a few years ago, And I remember exactly, because we were going back and forth on this. Who else would like to share?
I'm also agree with what everybody said, so I'm not going to reiterate the points. I talk from a mom. I've got students, high schoolers, and one of mine's already back in school pretty much the whole summer anyway with sports. I am curious, and I think everybody likes getting out early. I'm wondering when you said you had, because like Matt said, he actually brought up a really good point. None of us have heard anything that this was like a big deal. I do remember August coming up really quick going, oh my gosh, are they back earlier now than, not realizing that I was part of setting the calendar, and I was like, wow, this is early. Yeah. But it was like it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. The kids go back to school. So I'm curious, was most of the concern that time? Was it because it's such a shock, like, oh, wait, we're done?
I think there was concern. There was concern when the calendar was for this year, but coming off of COVID and things, I think, there was so many changes in the schedule. And then it was brought up, well, can you do something about next year's schedule then? And the thought was, well, we'll have to bring it to the board. So why is it at this meeting and not in the September meeting? I can't tell you that, why it wasn't there. But I can say this, that it wasn't as though I had the phone ringing off the hook about the schedule. But the way things work is teachers communicate through their teacher leaders. Their leaders then meet with me and say, this is a concern that teachers have voiced. Now, whether it was 15 teachers or 20 teachers, or there were 5 teachers in each building, I can't answer that for you. I can say it was expressed to me that the calendar was a concern, and my message was, it's set by the board, let me take it to the board and see if they want to change the calendar. The other message is, if this is the route that we're going and it's going to be, then that becomes the norm, and then people get accustomed to that's how they plan their vacations, that's what they do, they plan things in June. The one piece I think that allows us to do something in this nature is, and I think one of the reasons why is once the graduation date is set, we always have to change that. That's no longer in play with the new state statute. So I think that's important too, that once we set the date, that is the date. So. Because the calendar was set up by the administration, not by the teachers. When the teachers got the calendar, the teachers expressed concern. So did they look at the next year's calendar and look a year ahead? I don't think it was looked at that much until, at some point. And I can't remember whether it was summertime or the end of last year or September of when it was a concern, how big a concern it was that, first some people are concerned, it became more of a concern. I can't tell you whether it's 20 teachers or 100 teachers. I couldn't tell you specifics about how many people came forward.
So what if we just kept what we have, and then when it's time to do the following 2024, 2025, if there's such a huge concern, maybe then they can come, or, because if it's just a few handful versus you got parents wanting it, and you kind of.
I have no problem with that and sharing that with the teachers, that this is the calendar as right now because it's set, it's been voted on. And when it comes to be voted on this year, if there's concern, come to the board meeting and voice your opinion. Or, if there's a way to communicate to me individually, if they sign something, whatever they want to do to communicate. It was not a formal vote that was taken by the union, in my understanding, by the group of teachers, but it was brought up through the individual buildings that have building reps and building meetings. It was brought up to the union leadership that this was a concern, that people liked the old calendar, it was starting so early. And so that's why it's here. I mean, that's why it's here in front of you today. So,
I think we keep the calendar as it is, then we'll be two full years of a calendar on this kind of schedule. And I would say for the 24-25 calendar, not a bad suggestion by Cornell with regard to the budget referendum, maybe looking, I know we don't have a lot of professional development during the course of the year, but maybe just make a note of it to see if there's anything we can do to work around.
well, we might, there's ways to adjust even at the beginning. So we can talk about that further and come up with, if the feedback from the staff, the majority of staff is that we need to work through it, we can work some things to, a hybrid that does a little bit of both maybe.
Well, I think the budget referendum is also difficult because there could be two referendums. We could go to referendum twice, so then saying no school twice in April, May is
And that's not the best time.
pushing the school year out, and that's, yeah,
not the best
a
time to
difficult time.
Yeah.
Because we've gone to referendum twice. So, would anyone else like to share on this?
Nothing else to say on this.
Okay.
So a vote no is to keep the schedule as is. A vote in favor is to change it according to this.
So if you vote yes, you are supporting Adam's motion.
No,
No.
no, if you vote yes, it's this. Oh, yeah, the motion.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, the
Not
motion
what
you
he just
made.
said, yeah.
You made the motion.
Yeah, not what he
So
wants,
if we
but-
vote yes, it's in favor of the
Okay.
motion. That is on the table. Yes, if you vote no,
Yes is in favor of changing.
yeah, no, you made the motion, that's why. I'm making things more confusing. If everyone could just raise their hand for this vote, just so we can make sure we got a proper count. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, 8-0, thank you.
No, 0-8.
0-8. Gosh. 0-8, yes. My apologies. All right, so it is set. Moving on, thank you everyone for the discussion. Moving on to the graduation site for future Berlin High School graduation ceremonies. I'm going to turn this over to you.
As was discussed at a previous board meeting, we shared that we're looking to move the graduation site to Sage Park with a backup of the Gibney Gym for graduation moving forward. And we talked about this being put on an agenda at a future time and trying, because of the time required to secure sound, staging, chairs, and so on, to have it at Sage.
So before we open it up for discussion, do we have a motion for consideration?
I'll move to designate Sage Park as the graduation site for future Berlin High School graduation ceremonies, and in the case of inclement weather, graduation will be held indoors at the Gibney Gymnasium at Berlin High School with a video feed in the auditorium should additional seating be needed.
Do we have a second? Motion by Adam, second by Gina. I know for me, now we can open it up for discussion. My last time we met, the concern I presented was, let's sit on it, give it time, and if people have issues or concerns, they can come to the board and bring it to us. I personally have not heard from anyone that was objecting this change. So I'm going to open it up to the board to hear what you guys have to say. If you have any concerns or questions or heard from anyone or anything.
I'm a little gun shy because of what happened last time, because we
I-
went through this.
Yeah, that's why I was.
It was, complete chaos. So did we say that we were gonna vote on it later and ask for, okay. I mean,
So Jamie, you weren't at the last meeting, right? Were you? So basically, we went through everything and I had the same reservations a number of people on the board did. We were going back and forth. The difference with last time, I think we received the information, we were cool with it in committee, brought it forth to the board, voted on it, and then we had the repercussion. It's been 6 weeks since our last discussion, and that, for me, that's what I was kind of looking for. We had this big, long discussion last meeting. We've put it out there.
I mean, we've had 2 graduations now at the field, and they've been fantastic.
Yes.
So I think that has helped the community, at least, and parents and whatnot, know that it can be a sensational program here in town. So I just wanted to kind of, I'm still gun shy, though, I'm just gonna say that.
Cost differentiation, I know that. I think it was $6,000 or something like that, to do it at Sage versus more.
No, it was less to do it at Sage.
Sage?
Yes.
I thought it was more.
No, because we had to
You
rent the
sure?
hall. Yeah.
It's 4,000
more.
less.
Yeah, it's less.
Yes.
It's more or less?
It is less to do it at Sage.
Oh, okay. Well, I agreed with
It's
Sage
more.
Park anyway. It's more.
It's more at
More at
Sage than
Sage.
Welty, okay.
More at Sage.
Sorry.
More at Sage?
Wait,
More at Sage.
hang on. Katie, would you like to speak to that? Hmm? Let her.
So there is a higher cost with it being at Sage Park because of various materials needed to set the venue up. With that being said, I believe I don't have the exact number, I did just look it up a short time ago. It's roughly just short of $5,000, I believe, more at Sage Park. That being said, we can accommodate more guests at Sage Park. We have more capabilities to bring in our own community to Sage Park, including our students and staff, including Nick Smith and his crew. We have more freedoms and autonomy to use our visual effects, including drones, that have become part of, in the last 2 years, the culture and celebratory feel of having that hometown graduation. So aside from the Berlin Fair, it's the second largest event in Berlin to date that we could replicate. So, there's a big breakdown that we have in favor of supporting it at Sage Park, but I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are further questions.
Sage Park. I was just bringing that up because we haven't talked about it, and I think that would really be the only deterrent as to why we wouldn't have it at Sage Park. And it's really not that much more. And I agree with you wholeheartedly that it's part of our town. And I was there last June, and it was a really nice ceremony. And I think it makes sense to have it in the town that the kids are graduating in. So I was all for it. I just wanted to bring that in because I don't know if we remembered that there was that differentiation in the cost, but it's not really astronomical. So
Right now, the only comparison we have is 2022 to 2019. It's roughly a little over 6,000. But the thought is that the 2019 price for Welty would be different if they rented it in 2022 anyways, because they've gone up every year. The other piece is the town charges us a little over $3,000 to recondition the turf after the graduation. So if you take that $3,000 out, you're talking about a few $1,000s more to do it.
I think it makes total sense to do it in town. And it was a really, really nice ceremony.
And
I thought
of
it was
course,
great.
weather is the question, right? Should there be weather? So there is a sufficient backup plan should there be inclement weather to also host, here at the high school with approximately 1,500 seats in the A gym with overflow of 600 seats to live stream in the auditorium. So.
So I love the Sage Park. I don't like the Gibney Gym because that, yes, yes, you have the capability to host that many people, but then you have to put it outside on the screen. I like what we did with the, here's the date, and then this day is the rain date, which is somewhere in that same weekend, which was great. I know that if it was me, let's say it's next year, and it was at Gibney Gym, I'd be like, oh, it's not the same. Sage is fantastic. The ability to have so many more people be in an environment that's really celebratory. Gibney Gym just kind of dulls it down, if you know what I mean. Not intentionally, but Adam, you're better with words than I am.
No, what I was going to say is we did not have a rain date. It was going to be that day, period, whether it was indoor or outdoor.
Was it? I
Yep.
thought we had it the next
No,
day.
because the issue is, don't forget, you've got
they
the
all
all-night
planned
grad
out.
party.
You're right, that's right.
And that's why, and listen, it's a risk reward. The reward is, it's our own stadium, it's Berlin culture, it's wonderful, you get more people there. We've had beautiful days the last couple of years. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I think having that date and having it controlled within our own facilities is the best way to go.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have a motion for consideration, then we can continue the discussion?
We already did.
We did. I didn't
Adam
write it
Jean
down.
seconded, so now we vote.
Oh my goodness, I'm losing it. It's been a long day. Okay, any other discussion? That's why I write things down. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 8-0. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Katie, for that information.
Okay, moving on to the policy review revision. We have the second reading and adoption. Do we have a motion for consideration?
I'll move to adopt the new and revised policies and bylaw items A through L listed above.
I'll second.
So motion by Adam, second by Jamie. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, 8-0. All right, we are moving on to the first reading of a few new policies here. Do you have anything you would like to share?
Just sharing the first policy here on renaming the school buildings. That was something that was discussed at the recent agreement to name the Court Veneziano. So this was a 5-year. All we're adding is changing from a 1-year to a 5-year period. The heat illness awareness intramural interscholastic sports is just a new policy from the state. We've had our own internal practices for that have been in place. Emergency actions plans for interscholastic athletic events, just that they're now asking that we put in formalized a plan here, not that we haven't had something in place before. Administration of medication in schools, a little more clarification based on liability here of who can and who can't, and who gives the authorization. So the other one, food allergies, storage, glycogen storage. This is coming up now with discussion with certain parents and within the nurse's office about who's able to administer this in a safe and effective way. So the new policy will be helpful. And then the high school graduation requirements, we're just modifying them to be a little more flexible. And years ago, we had students had work studies their senior year, and they would come in for a few classes and leave. We're still keeping the rigorous credit requirements, 27, but we're allowing the senior year that if they have the ability to get out into the work, do a work study or an internship, that's some flexibility there. So that's just kind of a quick overview of them.
So the next meeting, we will have our second reading. Any questions about these? So we do not need to take any action tonight. All right, moving on to our last item on the agenda. Do we have a motion for consideration? Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so motion by Jamie, second by Adam. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned at 8:37 p.m. Thank you guys for a wonderful meeting.